welcome back to the College Corner. I'm Amber, the creator of the Adulting Queen. The College Corner is your go-to for all things college, whether you are a high school student looking to enroll in college, you're currently in college, you graduated. Some of these tips still might be helpful to you to utilize as resources. So I'm super excited that we have this. If you have not checked out any of the other videos, go back and look at those. We've done a couple of different topics that are relevant. And if you have anything that you would want us to talk about, please drop it in the comments and make sure you share this with your friends. So I went to SUNY College at Old Westbury in Long Island, New York, and my bachelor's degree is in psychology. My master's degree is from Hofstra University, and it's in higher education and leadership policy studies. I always have to pause what I'm saying because it's a very long name. Higher education and leadership policy studies was my master's degree.
Awesome. Yes. Come on, masters.
It's
I
almost 10 years,
am.
which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of those things. I feel like I would have went straight to it. But we live and learn. And now that's my advice to everybody else. Don't hesitate.
Yeah.
So myself, Deanna Joy, I went to Tennessee State University, which is in Nashville, Tennessee, and I studied accounting. And I had a minor in entrepreneurship, but I realized I also am part of an entrepreneur family. So what was the point of just having credentials? Um, so I'm excited really just to get into topic today, honestly, just because I underestimated the things I was doing in college that really set me up for my career.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about preparing for your career if you are a college student and how do you get the experiences and the things that you need so that you can feel like you're starting a fulfilling career, even if it's not your forever career, but you're getting a job or something when you are done with your degree. So, first thing, I will start with what we did while we were in college that helped us. So, I was a very over-involved student leader. I was a resident assistant, orientation leader, in SGA, homecoming queen, did admissions tours, wrote for the newspaper. So I just did a lot of things. And in the moment, you're not thinking that that's helping you for your career, but it is because you're managing your time, you're having to send emails, you're doing administrative stuff, you have to meet deadlines, working with your peers, working with the professionals in different offices. So that's really what got me to where I am today. And even before that, just in high school, I was in Girl Scouts, I was in clubs, I did gymnastics, I tried sports out. So I did things that were getting me experience, but also exposure to what I might like to do. And when I look back, all the things that I got involved in, if I'm not doing them like sports, I'm not playing sports. I don't really like sports, but I learned that through trying it. So you basically just in college should try a lot of different things and get involved to see what you like or don't like so that you can further your career.
I love it. Yes, I am a tomboy at heart, so sports were always my thing. So I almost went to college on basketball to Tuskegee, but I opted out because I realized I didn't want to literally give my all to basketball.
Yeah.
So just realize that student athletes, you are a student first, but you are truly an athlete second, and it comes to your
You can't
schedule
be
and
an athlete
everything.
there if you're not a student and you're not getting your grades correct. So that's
Yes, it
important.
all matters. So I did intramural basketball, and I feel like I hung out with the volleyball team. I was constantly involved with all of the sports on campus. So I was also part of pep club. So I was making sure that there was a crowd at every function as well. And then also I had plenty of friends that were part of dance teams. So if I wasn't in the dance itself, I was there for the practice for them. So I'll either stop the music, getting it started, but I was always on campus doing something.
Okay.
Um, I honestly, I say my hustle started while I was in college, but it really did start in high school, to be honest. But like you, I was in Girl Scouts, and in college, I became a Girl Scout leader. So I did that starting at 19, and I will say that they became my little sisters. So that was literally walking distance from campus. There's a church right next door that I did that, and they also had tutoring Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if I wasn't on campus doing something, I was off campus at the church doing something else.
Gotcha. So again, very involved, doing something that were giving you skills to help you just
Absolutely.
further what you wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
And what did you want to do when you graduated college? What career did you think you were going to have?
Oh well, that's the fun part. I went in knowing accounting was my goal, but my direction of accounting changed because I went in wanting to do forensic accounting, which is like very detail oriented, looking for all the mistakes and possibly going to government with it. But I realized when I was doing my internships that corporate is not where I want to go. So I learned early that I had to try it out first. And then I really went into mom and pop shops and started helping out small businesses like my own family business too.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I definitely took a full detour, I would say. But when I went in, I knew the main thing I was going for, but the course definitely changed along the way.
Yep. Yeah, for me, I went pursuing psychology and was like, I want to be a forensic psychologist. Then I was like, I don't actually like science. So I want to do guidance counselor work or social worker, which I kind of do in my full-time role now, but not in necessarily the path I thought I would. I thought I was gonna work like in middle schools, high schools, or like being, I guess, not like a TV guidance counselor, social worker, but like a traditional guidance counselor, social worker. My job now is like a non-traditional guidance counselor, social worker, life coach kind of thing. But doing the things that I did in school is what got me there. So I just wanted you to say what you wanted to do and what you're doing, because this is just a reminder that what you're majoring in school and what you think your career is going to be might not be that, and that's okay, because there's so many different options that you just don't know about when you're in college, and you realize like, oh, I see somebody in this job, but their path like looked like this, like they went all around before they got to where they're at, or they were in a different major or whatever it was. So I feel like the tips that we're going to talk about are going to help you more than thinking like, oh, this is my major, I need this career, or I need to do this class to get this career. I feel like it's the skills and you putting yourself out there and getting to know yourself and network will help you to your career, whatever it's going to be.
Absolutely.
So the first tip is build a strong LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is basically professional Facebook, and everybody should have one. Even if you don't use it often, it's just great to have one, have a clear, clean headshot, have a quick sentence about yourself, and have your updated positions, where you go to school, what you're aspiring to do, because people are looking for young talent to come work at their places, to do internships. Now, the way of the world, you can do things remotely. So making sure you have a LinkedIn is for sure your first step to getting yourself out there and learning about opportunities that can be possible for you.
Yeah. And then also putting all your skills on LinkedIn is probably way better than doing it on your resume. When
Yes.
I say that, it is because LinkedIn has more clickable options and it's not going to be 3 pages long when somebody's coming to look at your profile. And just those some skills that you were learning at your first job as maybe McDonald's or Burger King, those skills can be something that can be utilized in your corporate world too. So customer service and hospitality, those are things that can be converted over and added to your LinkedIn too.
No, for sure. Don't negate like your retail job or fast food job. Like that still was a job. It's your attitude behind it and the way that you're able to talk about that job that you did. And it
That
gives you the experience until you get your career experience. And then you obviously can take those things off.
Yeah. And then also, the best time to really utilize your LinkedIn is now because you have colleagues around you who can hype up your Microsoft Office work or your accounting software work, whatever the case. You can really just hype each other up on LinkedIn that gives more value and when you get into the career world.
Exactly. And then this goes into our next tip of gaining relevant experiences. So yes, I know we just said that like doing a retail job or working in fast food or something not related to your thing matters, and it does. In your mind right now, you're like, this isn't relevant, but it is, because you're working with customers, you're working with other employees, you have to talk to your managers, you have to do things in a process, you have to go through trainings, and at any job, no matter what you're doing, that is what you would have to do. So you could talk about those things. But
Yeah.
in terms of relevant experience, that doesn't have to be a paid experience, which I do know, again, in college, you're just like, I need money, I want to get paid. But sometimes the best relevant experiences come from just shadowing your informational coffee chats with people, just helping professors, doing an unpaid internship for a class. So thinking about ways that you can get exposure and shadow somebody in your field to see if you want to actually go into that field.
Yes. And I had a professor who She was actually never my professor, but she knew I was in accounting and she pulled, like, spotted me out. And she made sure that when I was going into my sophomore year, that I had a place in NABA, which is the National Association of Black Accountants. And she forced it. I appreciate her because she saw like value in me before I did. And those are another things. So when it comes to just who is in your network, that can also be a letter of recommendation later.
Yes, yes. And then leads right into our next point again. Expanded networking opportunities. So you were a part of NAPA. I was a part of an organization called NASPA, which was for students that wanted to pursue higher education. They had a mentorship program specifically for undergraduate students, but the organization as a whole put you in front of all professionals across the country and even out of the country that were working at college campuses. So that was like a huge way for me to do the informational interviews, gain relevant experience, let people know that I'm looking for opportunities. So look at your major, or if you're involved on campus, like an SGA, any professional organizations that they're offering for you to be a part of, join them and ask if they're willing to pay for you. So, like for us, our school did pay for us to be a part of this organization, paid for us to go to the conferences. And if you're the first student at your school to ask about this, that's okay. Still ask to see if they will pay, because
Yep.
there are a lot of student discounts that are very discounted compared to when you become a professional. So the professionals at your school are usually willing to pay for things like that for you. And then your school also just has already career fairs. You have a career center that you can utilize. You have your professors and your department under your major that hosts a lot of things. So all of the events at school that you go to, think of them as a networking event. Even if you're going to a social game day or game night, whatever it is, you're still probably going to run into like a professor. You're going to meet a new friend there. You're going to meet an upperclassman. You're going to meet an alumni. Like you just never know, because a college has so many people and so many things tied to it that no matter what events or things you take advantage of, like you're going to meet somebody new.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then also just take advantage of people in your classes, because everybody has like a different path, to be honest. And myself, I actually am excited just to be able to say, like, oh, a lot of my colleagues are not entrepreneurs, but we didn't do that all from the start. And
Yeah.
that's one of those things that we kind of learn along the way. So some of our colleagues in college are in Greeks or whatever the case, and they may have a larger network pool later on in life just because of the organizations that they are part of too. But just being nice and to associates that you're around will honestly help you in the long haul too, just because y'all are all going through it, the trenches together.
No, your peers are, I feel like, the biggest and easiest network to tap into, because you're in class together, you're in
Mhm.
school together, you are going through a similar experience, and you just it's like so hard to drill this point home, because I understand that if you're listening and you're currently in college, you're just like, I just want to enjoy my college years. Like I don't care about this stuff right now. Like I don't want to take anything too seriously. I completely get that. But from being out of college and working with students in your position, I just know personally and have seen all my students experience that, like, it's their friends or their peers that have given them the opportunities that they have. And you
Yeah,
don't think about that, or you can't really envision that when you're sitting in class. You're just like, get me out of here. I just try to graduate. I'm trying to get like my career going. I'm trying to get whatever it is, but take advantage of talking to and building connections with your peers for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, one of my freshman friends, we came in together freshman week, and we talked about our goals then, and it's just really cool just to see her like literally walk and speak it, and now she's living it. So when we were doing intramural basketball, she was saying that she wanted to work for the NBA one day, and literally that's what she does now. So it's just cool just being able to see like literally the careers of your colleagues going full circle, from playing basketball with her to now she's on she's the Grizzlies. Literally, is who she was.
Ooh, that's
So
cool.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, there's been so many things from people from my school. Like people own their own businesses. They're doing like festivals for different types of events. Somebody even won I forgot what Ti's show used to be called, but they were the winner of that show. We have people on like Jimmy Kimmel doing stand up comedy. So it's like you just never know where these people are going to go. So just be a nice person and make
Hmm.
connections. You don't
Yeah.
even have to be like best friends with them. I think the best advice is just be nice and don't leave a bad taste in somebody's mouth because
Hmm.
they will remember that later down the line. But I don't know many alumni that if you run into somebody from your school, whether you knew them or not, you're going to be excited. You're just like, oh my God, you went there, like I went there too, like let's connect, whatever. But if they remember you were a bad person, they're not going to want to talk to
Hmm.
you.
Yeah, and that also goes for your reputation on campus. So um, just realize the fact that it goes a long way into your careers, into your personal life. It's going to follow you. So just understand now, even how you portray yourself on social media, from LinkedIn, Facebook to all your socials. That is something that people, I know my freshman year, we literally knew each other by our social media names. So
Yes. Yes. And that's how
that
you
is,
usually connect with people first too before you even go. Like, so
mm-hmm,
if you're a high school student or a first year student, when you get like your class information and stuff, people are going straight to social media to be like, who's going here? I'm going. This is my class schedule. What building are you living in? Who's your roommate? Like there you're gonna know people already from social media. And again, you don't want to be the person that's on the outside, like what's going on here.
yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
And then another thing that your campus would offer through the career center or career fairs and employment opportunities are mock interviews. So that helps you tremendously to prepare for a real interview. And it's okay to not be good. This is practice. You have not had to go up against corporate people and people who've been working for 10, 15, 20 years and have an interview before. That's fine. This is what this day is for. You dress up, they give you feedback, and then you're able to help apply that for when you actually go to your real job interviews.
And then, honestly, if you don't even know where to look for these mock interviews, start going to your career development office or your counselors, and they can guide you in the best way. Because
Definitely.
sometimes mock interviews in the accounting world are totally different from mock interviews for lawyers. So make sure you're going to your industry focused, because there's questions that will get asked that will only come up for your industry too.
Yep. And then we mentioned the career center, but just saying it again that they offer not saying they're going to give you a job if you walk in there asking for a job. What the career center is going to do is be able to connect you with employers to look over your resume, to help you write cover letters, to help you start your LinkedIn, to give you professional resources. They're not giving you a job. I think that is a big thing that people think like, oh, this is the career center or your alumni services or your whatever service, you should be giving me a job. No, they give you the skills and resources to help you feel confident in applying and going through interviews, but you have to do your part to get those resources and get places.
Absolutely. And then also, don't hesitate to voice your opinion in those offices too.
Yes.
Because I was able to orchestrate us getting headshots for my organization by just mentioning it to our career development office. But I was like, we have LinkedIn's, we have all these things, but we don't have headshots. We don't have proper things to make us look presentable. And that was enough for them to be like, oh, we have photography as a class, we can make that a thing. So we overlapped and created resources for us as students. So
Yeah.
closed
And the
mouths
more
don't get fed.
people, exactly. And then the more people that go, the more that they will like try to increase their services and things like that.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
even with organizations. I think
yes.
I told you before we got started. It was a factor of I told my counselor that, or our director over organization, our professor, that I'm like, hey, I would love to go to the large conference that we have, like where everybody's there, all corporate and all people overlap from, because in NABA there's a pipeline after college
Mm-hmm.
you go into, and then you're professional. So it's
Gotcha.
literally everybody on the young professionals to the next level in one space. And I literally said, hey, let's figure this out. And I set it enough time frame for us to save money, create fundraisers, and all the things to make it happen.
Yeah, no, that is awesome because the professionals will listen to students if you're providing good solutions and they are able to move it forward. So you definitely need to go utilize these resources and talk to people so that they can help you.
Yes.
Then developing key skills and certifications. You can get these through like Google. Google offers a lot of skill badges and certifications. Even LinkedIn has some of them. Microsoft, and some of them are free. But again, if there are any that are not free and you're interested in it, going to ask somebody on your campus if they're able to pay for it for you, or if there's any type of student discount codes and things like that.
Yeah.
And again, a skill or certification does not automatically get you a job. I think that's another misconception, that people are like, oh, I got this certification, so like, why am I not getting the job? What a skill or certification says is that you have like a specialty that you have pursued or you gained a little bit more knowledge on. Basically, thinking about it as professional development. Like, you looked into a topic to enhance certain skills that are not related to maybe your major, or it's not the same as like attending a class for college.
Yes, and then also Amazon has certifications as well, and those I think are a couple paid situations, but they do have. It just looks good on your resume. All these certifications, honestly, if they're in the right element of your industry, and not just getting psychology if you're going into something science. Just make sure it makes sense along the way too.
Yeah. Or where skills and certifications can help you is if later down the line you went to a major or you pursued a major that is not completely in alignment with the career you're trying to apply for, because
Mhm.
some jobs or fields you do need a certain set of requirements or skills. So if you didn't get that in college, a certification will supplement that so that you can at least have a base level of understanding to whatever the job is you're applying to.
Yep. And then sometimes go to Google and find the best resources there. I would say I think my pivot from forensic accounting changed my junior year once I saw like production accounting was a thing on movies. And then literally had to shift my whole focus of like my direction because I was like, oh, music industry, and also like just the different ways accounting is needed in so many elements I didn't
Yeah.
even know. And I'm like, oh, I can get my name in credits. And so I did a whole certification along that route, but never actually utilized it. But
You
those are things,
haven't.
like I said, yeah, I just want to learn as much as possible in the realms of like how I can utilize my degree in the best way.
Yeah. And then lastly, just creating a portfolio or a personal brand. And I just did a workshop with students about this topic. So this is not necessarily only your LinkedIn, or only a project you did in school or something. Thinking about your portfolio or your personal brand is when somebody's going to Google your name, like what comes up. People on campus, what's your reputation? Like, what are you known for? What types of activities and things are you doing to associate yourself with what you want to do, so people know if they see something or they think about something that it ties back to you. I think when I was in school, I wasn't intentionally doing this, but again, being where I'm at now, reflecting back, I was pretty consistent in certain things, like showing up at events and like having school spirit and being involved on campus. Like, people knew if they had a question about something on campus, they could ask me. And they would only know that they can ask me because they see me at different things. They see
Yeah,
that I'm a student leader. I'm posting about stuff on social media about what's going on campus. So think about that. Like, if you had to pick something that you want people to always come to you and ask you about, what would that be? And then start putting that stuff out on social media, creating a YouTube, posting videos on TikTok, wherever it is that the people at your school would see what you're doing. And even the professionals to know that, oh, I have a student that I need to find that talks about X. I have the perfect person to go
yeah,
find them.
yep. I actually utilize a trainer from he was literally getting his beginning steps while in college, and so I was his like guinea pig. So he created different training things for me as a I always want to stick with my athletic body. So I always was always in the gym. That's another thing, just take advantage of because it's a free gym. Um, but I underestimated the fact that like, oh, that's literally what he does as a career now, and I can hit him up at any time, and he's happy to help me out just because I was there for the beginning steps of his career.
Yeah. And then another huge tip about a portfolio or personal brand, this isn't going to be something that you just like go to chat gpt or you in one day sit down and like make a whole portfolio. A
Yeah,
portfolio and personal brand is built over time, so you have to kind of just be patient and enjoy what you're doing when you're doing it to build this thing up. So like for my brand, the Adulting Queen, yes, it started out with me saying I'm gonna do something, but like now all the things you can find for it is because over time, like you can't create a huge personal brand or portfolio in just a couple days. And I
Yeah.
think that students now just want everything to happen very quickly, or they want everything to be like, this is what it is. And for careers and branding, you're never going to be able to just overnight that at all. It has to be over time being consistent.
Yeah. So even if it's creating a blog, and that's something that you want to do regularly, make that your thing, and then step it up and make it everywhere you go. And then even just like myself within accounting, I literally with my internships, I did everything, from construction to corporate, accounting and healthcare. I literally sprinkled every situation I could, because I didn't know what route I wanted to go right after. So I took advantage of those paid internships and unpaid moments too that really would allow me to set me apart from my resume, my LinkedIn, and my
Yep.
experience I was getting.
Yeah. So just to recap, our tips here is build a strong LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is free. The website super easy to make. You can do it on your phone, download the app, or just go in the browser. But make a LinkedIn if you do not have one already. Gaining relevant experiences, so putting yourself out there so that you can get different skills and learn what you like or don't like. Engage in networking opportunities, getting involved on campus, utilizing the Career Center, developing key skills and looking for certifications, and then lastly, creating a portfolio or a personal brand. So, anything else to add before they
No, honestly,
go?
I just wish I would have realized I was making a personal brand when I was doing it.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I think back, it's like that's not the way I was perceiving it.
Yeah.
But I do think that we were in a time that social media was prevalent, but it wasn't what was connecting people
Hmm.
throughout the world too much. It would connect people in your area or you were following people you knew. But now that social media is more relevant in things, like the first place somebody's gonna look to search for you, like as a friend or something, is TikTok or Instagram.
Facts.
Professionally, the first place somewhere is gonna search for you is on LinkedIn. So now there are easier ways to display it, and I think that's why we think about it, because you're like, what do I want to put out there? But we were just like literally boots on the ground, just meeting people, talking to people, networking that
Hmm.
way.
Yeah. But I also would say, when it comes to LinkedIn, there's one person I would like to shout out. She's Flynance.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I can follow her.
she does a lot of information around LinkedIn, just knowing the knowledge of how to portray yourself on LinkedIn and not just put something new there. And also for me, I treat my LinkedIn like my resume, and I every time I update my resume, I update my LinkedIn too. So just think about those things early on will allow you to set yourself apart going into a career.
Yes, for sure. And you can follow me everywhere on all social media: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn at The Adulting Queen. My website's theadultingqueen.com. So follow, subscribe, share. For sure, share this with anybody else in your classes, anybody that's looking to pursue college, and drop any comments, questions below that we can answer for you.
Yes, please. And if you don't know already, my name is Deanna Joy, and that's Joy with an I. And you can find me on all social media by Budgets with the S and Joy with an I. So that's Budgets by Joy. And I'm on all platforms, TikTok to Instagram to LinkedIn to, yeah, wherever you can find me. But I'm
Thank you.
happy to help. Yeah, I feel like this is literally one of our purposes here is to make sure the next generation has what they need.
Thanks for watching.